Well, to examine a little closer, we can break it into two parts. The first part we can call the Establishment Clause, and the second part we can call the Free Exercise Clause. The Establishment Clause just says Congress can make no laws respecting the establishment of a religion. This was originally intended to prevent the government from creating a state religion. In England, a lot of the rest of the world, that was really common. Church of England, Roman Catholic Church, there was a lot of laws, like if you go to church on Sundays, you get fined, you get thrown in prison, you have to sit in church for hours every Sunday. America wanted, the founding fathers wanted America to be a place of freedom, a place where we could express whatever religious beliefs we wanted to. They really didn't want a state church, so they put this: Congress cannot create a state church. Today, this is commonly interpreted as prohibiting the establishment of a state church, forcing or influencing individuals to attend or not to attend church, or levying taxes to support religious institutions, and government intervention in religious organizations or religious intervention in the government. The Free Exercise Clause is what really gives us freedom to practice whatever religion we want, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. This clause removes the power from Congress to place any restraint on free exercise. They can't say you have to go to church on Sundays, you cannot worship Muslim God, which is Allah. And law is government regulation of religious beliefs, so they can't make a law saying you cannot be Hindu, you cannot do this, or making it the other way. You have to worship our God, you have to read the Bible. It was the norm around the world for the governments to have a state religion. They wanted that to be different. They wanted it to be a place of freedom, a place where we can just do whatever we want, worship whoever we want. Where does separation of church and state actually come from? It's found nowhere in the Constitution or in any of its amendments. The phrase separation of church and state was actually first stated in a letter by Thomas Jefferson to the Danbury Baptist Church. The church was concerned of government intervention in their religious practices. They didn't want the government to tell them what they can and cannot do. And in response to this, Jefferson said, "Believing with you that religion is a matter which lies solely between man and his God, thus building a wall of separation between church and state." Jefferson and the founders believed that religion was a personal matter. They didn't believe the government should be able to tell you what you can and cannot worship. This was, John Locke was a big influence on this view. He argued that government lacked the authority to control individual conscience. This created the natural right and the liberty of conscience, which he argued should be protected by any government authority. What does this have to do with the modern day? Well, in 1947, Everson v. Board of Education, the Supreme Court declared the First Amendment has erected a wall between church and state. That wall must be kept high and impregnable. We could not approve the slightest breach. This court case laid the foundation for the views of separation of church and state. Every court case after that, Engel v. Colley, Stone v. Graham, Edwards v. Keogh, and Allegheny County v. ACLU, all of those were based off of that original ruling in 1947, that state and church cannot be combined. They must be two separate entities. The after effects of this were, it was unconstitutional for states to require teaching of creation science, where evolution was required. So, if evolution was taught at the school, schools could not require creationism to be balanced out between the two. They could only teach one. They could teach both, but they could not be required, which really makes no sense. How could you be required to teach evolutionism, but you're not allowed to require creationism? Also, you're not allowed to post 10 Commandments in schools. Say a teacher's Christian, they just want to express their beliefs to the teachers, have classroom rules based on that. They're not allowed to, actually, all public schools. You cannot post that. You can't pray, National Day of Prayer. You're not allowed to force students to, even if it's not a denominational, non-religious prayer, you can't do it in public schools. Not going to be allowed. Do we really have freedom of religion or freedom from religion? Well, Mayor Bloomberg, as a lot of you may know, did not extend invitations for the 9/11 memorial to religious leaders or firemen and police officers, which stood up a lot of controversy. The firemen and police officers were the real heroes of 9/11, running up, burning buildings while everyone else was trying to get down, sacrificing their own lives, the lives of others. Despite trying to keep religion out of the ceremony, Many speakers, both Christian and Jew, as I was watching this on TV, I saw them just do a quick prayer after reading, or after speaking, and this just showed you couldn't separate religion out of people's lives, and if they want to practice, just not able to stop. In 1934, a cross was erected in the Mojave Desert to honor those killed in World War I. In 2002, the courts actually demanded that it be boarded up. That's a picture of it right there. That's the cross boarded up. For 8 years, it just was going through appeals court. Finally, in 2010, the Supreme Court took the case. The Supreme Court actually said the cross could stay up, but they punted the case to the lower courts. They said, you guys decide. We don't want to get part of this. It can stay out for all we care, but we're not going to decide it. So it's just saying, it's just protecting people. A lot of people believe that we should protect people from religion. They shouldn't. It's not freedom of religion, but freedom from religion. They should be. You shouldn't have to get religious symbols, and that's a big problem in America today. As a later stage. Another example is the holiday tree. Christmas trees on public property have been called holiday trees since the 80s. Even though December 25th is the national holiday for Christmas, everyone gets off work, federal buildings are closed. The government renamed it because of pressures that non-religious people were getting offended and that it was pushing religious beliefs on the public. A lot of non-Christians a lot of Christians were offended by this, saying it's a holiday, it's Christmas. How can you call Christmas a holiday? That makes no sense. And for the first time in 30 years, actually, Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin decided that we call it Christmas tree. Naturally, a bunch of non-Christians complained, saying, you can't do this, you're forcing our beliefs on us. He said, December 25th is a federal holiday called Christmas. Deal with it. I just thought that was really funny. What did the founding fathers have to say about this? Well, most were religious. In fact, 27 were actually ordained ministers. Charles Carroll said, on the mercy of my Redeemer, I rely for salvation and on his merits, not on the works I have done in obedience to his precepts. John Adams, our second president, said, the general principles on which the fathers achieved independence were the general principles of Christianity. This is a really important quote. John Adams actually said, we found America on Christianity. It's because of Christianity that America was able to succeed. And it was because of Christianity that America was able to be successful and defeat the British in the war. Benjamin Franklin, who was often cited as one of the most secular founding fathers, actually said, I believe in one God, the creator of the universe, that he governs it by his providence, that he ought to be worshipped. As to Jesus of Nazareth, I think his system of morals and his religion, as he left them to us, is the best the world ever saw or is likely to see. That's just a big slap in the face. Everyone says, Benjamin Franklin didn't believe in God. He was an atheist, even a deist. This puts that to rest, saying Jesus was, his morals and system of religion was the best the world will ever see and ever has seen. And then John Jay, who was the most religious of the founders, said, one of them asked me if I believed in Christ. I answered that I did, and thanked God that I did. Let's just say he was proud to be a Christian, and proud to proclaim his faith to others. Religion and government. Congress opens each session with prayer, and it has done so since the very first congressional session in March of 1789. The current chaplain is Patrick Conroy. That's a picture of him. He's actually the second one of two Catholic chaplains. Only one has been Lutheran, if I was interesting. But all have been Christian. Our national motto is "In God We Trust." It's printed on all of our currency and displayed on all national buildings. And actually, Congress reaffirms that as our national motto. And of course, all public officials swear to uphold the Constitution while placing their hand on the Bible. This tradition was actually started by George Washington. When he was swearing in as president, he stuck his left hand on the Bible and gave the oath. He also added, "So help me God" at the end, which by tradition all public officials add as well. This is actually a picture of a sermon invitation given by David Parson, Reverend David Parson, actually given to the Congress of Massachusetts and the government. That is John Hancock, who was, we all know him, signed the Declaration of Independence in big writing, wanted the king to see it without his glasses on. So I thought that was really interesting. That sermon was actually given to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the governor of Massachusetts was Lutheran. This just goes to show how religion and government has been thoroughly intertwined throughout history, and it was founded on Christianity. Christianity has always been a part of our country. It always will be a part of the country, and it's just important that we fight to uphold our beliefs and keep our religion public. I'd like to invite up N.3GP to give a closing. If you want to know the great book, Original Intent by David Barton, he goes in depth about the original intent of the founders, and you can also visit his website. It's wallbuilders.com.